Hello, everybody again. I'm actually doing some YouTube catching up today. Um, one last thing I wanted to talk about. Um, there might be some other stuff too, but in regards to TV shows, I recently, I think while I was in China, I got a hold of, and I think I've mentioned this in another video, but consider this a cross-reference. I got a hold of the uh, updated Star Trek: The Original Series. Where all the ships and all the planets and all the phaser beams and in-space stuff is all CG now and computer generated and really high quality special effects, and they brighten the whole thing so it's not quite so dull. And then they release them on HD and Blu Ray as well. And I thought I think they look really, really good. I think that makes, if you haven't seen the original series yet, um, watch it that way. Just forget about the original ones. I mean, they're nostalgic, sure, but if you really want to kind of watch the show, I think the way they intended for it to be, then get those updated ones and watch those. And keep in mind that they recently stated that the animated series was canon, I believe. So, and they're selling that on the Paramount site now too. So keep in mind that after you finish the original series, you need to watch the animated series to get years 4 and a little bit of 5, and then you go into the movies. Now, the like I said, like little phaser beams and just everything looks just better. Now, there were a couple of things that they didn't do. I'm not going to go on about it too much because there are actually a lot of things they could have fixed. And a lot of the older special effects held up okay. But one thing in particular bothered me, and that was in Arena, they didn't CG the Gorn. And I'm thinking, why? Well, I mean, I get it. It's such a nostalgic episode. I mean, it's got to be the most well-known Star Trek episode of all time. I mean, even if you can't uh, even if you can't remember the name of the episode, if you come into it mid-watch or something, you'll know that you're watching that episode of Star Trek that everybody knows. So, I think Paramount should try and get a company, ILM or something, or whoever, to CG in the Gorn, like one of the Gorns from Enterprise, and re-release the episode for like purchase or download on their site, because I think it just I get why they did it. It's nostalgic, it's campy. I got that. Thank you for leaving it that way, but I'd really like to see an awesome Gorn in there, and maybe a little better. Well, the Devil in the Dark effect. That little practical effect holds up okay. It still looks good. Um, they might do it similarly today, in fact. Mm, they made that thing's little burning through stuff look a lot better. And maybe there were one or two other little creatures that they could have made look a little better. Maybe someone should start a petition for that Arena episode Gorn CG redo thing. I wonder if there might be any interest in that. Uh, so let me know your ideas on that. So I wanted to talk about that for a second. Like I said, I think they're just well worth a watch that way. Let me see, what was another episode that turned out cool? Doomsday Machine. They made Doomsday Machine look really, really good. Um, that one was really awesome. That I think that episode may have turned out maybe the best overall. So yeah, definitely check that out. Definitely. definitely check that. Yeah, check that out. James Kirk on Enterprise. Definitely. So that's about half the video. The other thing I wanted to talk about was then I ended up getting a hold of recently, within the last couple of years, I guess. Or not the last couple of years, because I'm not sure when exactly they came out, but I got a hold of them. The Blu Ray editions uh, of Next Generation. Now, mine didn't come widescreen, but apparently you can convert these to widescreen, and they size up okay with just a little bit of loss. I haven't tried it, but I'm okay watching them in 4:3. I know that might sound weird, but you know that was the way they were shot. That's the way they're intended to be seen. I mean, they were shot for 4:3 TV. Not a lot of people had widescreen TVs then. The copies of Voyager and DS9 I got a hold of, they were all kind of widescreen, so I didn't have a problem there. But these Blu-ray copies of Next Gen are 4:3, so if that bothers you, you might want to look for the widescreen ones. If you're planning on you know what I mean. Then they didn't really per se update any effects in it, because the next gen effects are actually pretty good. They hold up. They hold up all right. The show's just now kind of starting to get a little bit hokey, and or not hokey. Sorry, hokey's not the right word. I never want to use that word in regards to Star Trek. Dated. Dated is a better idea. So I think releasing a more high-def version of it, so some people might check into it and maybe get into it for the first time, because now they have a nice high-def display, was perhaps a good idea. There were a few effects they could have updated, but you know, for the most part, everything looks pretty good. And a lot of stuff in Next Generation's practical, and I really like practical effects. But I'm wondering if there'll be some similar. I've heard their Blu-ray I've heard that their Blu-ray releases of DS9 and Voyager as well, at least in the works. I haven't kept up with them because I generally watch most stuff on my PC here or whatever, so it's not a resolutions. I can just watch standard def stuff and be pretty happy. But when I watch something high def, it is noticeably much better. I have not watched these in 120 hertz. I don't currently have access to a display that has that capability, but I suspect with the soap opera effect on, these would look stunning, because even though they were filmed on 35, they were lit for video, pretty much. I mean, if you ask me, the lighting in those things looks like video lighting. So I'm sure they'll look really, really good, since you tend to feel like you're on a set watching it anyway, right? I suspect Voyager would also look really good in soap opera, and DS9. All of those would probably look great in soap opera rather than because again, their lighting is more geared toward video esque lighting. It's not all grayed out and dull like film lighting looks good. You essentially have to light video like real life, or it tends to look weird, and I think they took that into account for the future, maybe, or that's just the way the future looked to them or something. And I'm not a film student. I've tried to get into some film programs, but it just didn't work out. So I do have some interest. I'd like to think I do kind of know what I'm talking about a bit. I am trying to write a cartoon and get it kind of going. So I hope I'm not just talking out my ass on all this. But I just think that probably the Blu-ray versions of all this are gonna kind of move things forward. Um, so check them out, and definitely check out those original series redos. They look great.